So we made the move, and we started July 1st, 1965. And I was going to finally be a stay-at-home mom. And Dick lasted 3 days down there, and he called and said, I can't do it alone. He said, we have to make some different arrangements. You're going to have to find some babysitters. So 3 days later, I was down there, and I was, believe me, I didn't know anything. And I've been there ever since, 51 years. But I didn't know what lead was. I didn't know what linotype was. I didn't know what presses were. And in those days, you wore dresses. Slacks very soon came in to play. But anyway, big 2-story brick building. In fact, next year it'll be 100 years old. I just found that out this week. It was built to be a 3-story building. They thought maybe they could add on another story someday. Hot. A brick building in North Dakota in the summer months. I know some days it was 100, maybe over 100 in there. And we would get big wash tubs and fill it with huge chunks of ice and put fans behind it, just trying to cool it down at all. And the linotype, I could set type on it, but it scared me. I was scared the whole time because every once in a while this hot lead would shoot out at you. Every Saturday morning, you took the pages apart, you melted the lead down at 500 degrees to melt the lead, and you poured it into these things with little squares, and they were called pigs, and then they would harden, and you'd carry that lead over to the linotype and start on the next week's paper. We set our big heads and small heads, even some of the grocery store ads by hand with bigger wooden letters. It was a job. And then 7 years later, I believe, Dick and I were divorced. And I ended up running it by myself since then. And those pages weighed over 100 pounds at least, and you had to carry them from the front into the back to the big press, and I couldn't carry 100 pounds, so I'd put the bottom of the page on the top of my legs and hold the top of it, and if you dropped it, you'd have to start over from scratch and just shuffle along until I got into the back room and got that 100-pound page on the press.